chairman realized the error. He's new. It's the first time he was ever chair on the town council. And I believe that he learned from his mistake. And he admitted that it was a mistake. I'm a little concerned that he said he would do it again, but again, I think that he believes that he's acting in his best interest. So I'm hoping that I'm correct in saying that there was no malintent in anything that he did. And I believe that, like Councilor Downer said, according to the first issue, the council did allow Mr. Pearl to speak. I'm sorry it had to happen the way it did, but he was allowed to speak, and we corrected that error at that time. I'm also concerned that after one mistake, we're going to punish, for lack of a better word. I believe that, I think that we've addressed it correctly. Mr. Pearl had every right, and I appreciate the letter that he sent. I think that it forced us into this conversation, but I think is probably not a bad thing. And that we address it, and that we see our mistakes, we learn from them, and then we move forward following proper procedure and doing what's right for the town and for the constituents.
Anyone else? Councilor Levack?
Is it appropriate to bring up an email now? Chair, Mr. Chair, Mrs. Chair?
And I will just say why I believe it is appropriate now, because we are looking at whether or not we want to continue supporting our chair. Thank you.
The person who's brought this complaint, Mr. Pearl has brought this complaint against our chair. I mean, it started off at 11:53 p.m. the night of the meeting. Tonight, after they had 3 hours of non-public Hooksett Police Commission meeting, Chief Agrafiotis was escorted from the police station and driven home. As of 11:48, I cannot confirm exactly what happened. It appears to me that this time that Mr. Agrafiotis is not the department head of the Hooksett Police Department. The commission made no public statement, no public meeting was held. Here's the video. Ginger Kowalski comes back just a little bit after midnight, 2 minutes after midnight. Why do you say it appears he's not the department head? It looks just like a guy getting a ride home. If any of you have seen the video, it's just two guys getting in the car, and because you know these two people, you can tell by the body language who they are. Then this Chuck Nolan writes in that one of the officers just told me that this is at 9:22 p.m. then the day before. I don't know how this ended up that way. But anyways, one of the two officers, an officer just told me the overnight shift has been informed that Captain Daigle is the acting chief until further notice. Just an FYI, good night. David Pearl. It's just being confirmed by Chuck, and I can say I have reason to believe Chuck is correct. That was Mr. Dan O'Brien writes in. Dave, if you have your eye ask your video, you should charge him for it. Dan O'Brien writes back again. Anytime, my friend. So, this whole thing got blown out of proportion by Mr. Pearl and making assumptions that with these emails, and everybody starts reading these emails, and everybody starts believing there's something going on here, but nobody's got an answer. So I think our chair felt compelled when everybody talks about transparency to put something out what's going on. And if he had information from the chief that he was put on administrative leave, and he didn't want to share it with Mr. Pearl, I think he was right not sharing it with Mr. Pearl. But he didn't tell anything that was out of school. Mr. Pearl had already put all this information out on the internet to get everybody to believe that Chief Agrafiotis was on administrative leave. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Just for the record, the emails we keep referring to are results of a right to know request, and there's a stack up here, and it also includes some things which put the question of what confidential means, because there's 3 that says confidential, and you have 1 including dated the 29th from the Hooksett Police Chief. But besides that, we all serve this town for a reason, because we think we can make it better, individually and collectively. We all have convictions that we stand by. We make statements that we believe uphold our own convictions, and we may disagree with others. The important thing to do is, and I'm doing this, and I don't want to do a history, but I've been doing this for since the charter's been there. I've been chairman in different things, and I've been doing this. And I run for boards because I think I can make a difference, and make a difference collectively with the boards and members I serve to. The most important thing is that, and the chairman did, he made a mistake, and he admitted he made a mistake, and I think that is attribute to any politician. If we can call a politician, I like to call myself a civic servant, not a politician, but if we make a mistake, we admit it, and we can, and it may sound cliche, move on. As I said, being chairman is not easy. In light of the past events on previous councils, we all knew we were getting into things that we may not like. But we did this because we wanted to go and improve on things, and we've been doing that. We're clarifying our roles and procedures and so forth. The chairman, Sarek, has done a good job. I supported him. I supported him when he was being chair, and I continue on this. And collectively, we work as a council together. Not one individual, but collectively. 5 of us are required to get things done. If we don't have 5, regardless of what the chairman does, it's not going to happen. He made a mistake, and I support William Sarek to remain as chairman.
I'd like to pull back, and as has been suggested a couple of times, to allow Chairman Sarek to speak if he desired. I think it's only appropriate that we have the citizen complaint, and David Pearl is here if he did also want to include input. I would ask one more time if there's any comments that want to be made by the board before I invite both of them to do that.
Just, if I may, speak to Mr. Sullivan's comment regarding the confidential stamp. I did ask Administrator Schenkel about that when the right to know request, when I was going through my emails, making sure I complied with that request. And simply stamping something confidential does not exclude it from the right to know, because then you could easily exploit that and just stamp everything confidential. What was explained to me was that if it were governed by an RSA or a termination or something of that nature, so our mere communication back and forth, the confidential stamp just denotes, hey, this is what's going on. This is, you know, kind of your eyes only, but it certainly doesn't preclude it from the right to know. So that's why I included it in my submission to Administrator Schenkel.
Thank you.
Thank you. While I can support Bill Sarek to the nth degree, I also want to ditto what Councilor Orr has said, in that in this situation, I don't believe it is at a level of removing him from chair. However, I cannot condone the fact or accept that a statement has been made and then it would be again, he would do it again. And so I'd love to have him clarify that statement so that I can vote to his support. Thank you.
I'm going to invite the board to speak after I invite them. If it's something that you want to be addressed or are hoping to be addressed, then I will entertain it now.
I'll wait.
In regard to inviting who?
Mr. Sarek to speak.
Yeah, I'd like to, there's some aspects here. One of the things I'm going to just put forward here is that we need to be measuring with the same yardstick when we talk about when information gets out. Okay, I've said this before. If you look at it historically in regards to what we've done in regards to press releases and stuff of that nature, we've got 22 days. We have some things where we've dismissed people and our department heads, and no press release has gone out. I'd like to put on the record that the police commission, within 18 hours, got a response within their 91A while maintaining their requirements of non-disclosure with regards to 91A. 18 hours. We had that 9 a.m. on that Saturday morning because it came late in the afternoon on Friday the 23rd. As far as the press and the pressure of the press, I got a call at 4 a.m. from Sean McDonald. I looked at it alarmed because I was saying, who the heck's calling me at 4 a.m.? Usually it means trouble of some sort. And I just hit sleep. I didn't know who it was until all of a sudden the message went off. I said, well, I better listen to the message, because I didn't recognize the phone number. And it was him. I didn't respond. I didn't respond the next day. It's not my purview. I'm clear on my obligations and my responsibilities. You know, this thing about blaming them, I feel it's got to stop. As far as an apology, I think the police commission deserves an apology. They got us that information in 18 hours. If I measure it against all the press releases we've done for the last 3 years, and trust me, I've looked, they're executing with precision. So, and maintaining the 91A requirements. So,
Mr. Chair, I have a question of clarification. The 18-hour notification, was that letter that was signed by all 3 commissioners that you had sent out upside down or one
Yeah.
scanned?
no,
Yes.
No?
no.
No.
They contacted.
Actually, in fairness, if you got it in 18 hours, I actually got it sooner than that. They called, the chairman called me late, and it's in the right to know request. It's in there. They called me late Friday, and to be honest, since I'd already given out the information that he was on administrative leave, I didn't think that it added any information. And if you look at what I said, I just said that it said it was on administrative leave, and I sent it first thing Saturday morning. I was out late Friday and just didn't get it out.
So we didn't see that.
You did. You got it Saturday morning, and if you look at the letter that we keep talking about, actually I appended it to that. So that's on top, which the police commission's on top, and then the other letter and the right to know request is under that.
I would ask if Mr. Syrak would wish to address the council at this time. And you're not obligated.
I understand.
Okay.
This may be another mistake. It's a difficult situation to be in, obviously. Mr. Lazat has called me dishonest, implied I've got a political agenda. Certainly, I thought of myself of a lot of things, but a politician is certainly not one of them. That morning when WWR called, and obviously when I saw Mr. Pearl's log, and we couldn't respond, and I felt an obligation as chair of the town council to respond, given all the reasons that you stated. I was very, very frustrated. I called the police commission chair several times asking for, give us the talking points so we can respond accordingly. TV cameras were rolling into talking to Evelyn, and I don't think Dean was in his office on that morning, and it was chaos. And I thought it was one of Hooks's, it's certainly one of our finest hours. It was not. I was embarrassed for the town of Hooks that morning, the way that whole situation was handled. In terms of an apology,